Now that Tekashi 69 has been made a free snitch, we need to discuss some recent events. Now, many of you may be wondering why I am not doing a reaction to his new song. I mean, this is the most viewed hip-hop song within 24 hours in the history of YouTube. Shouldn't I be chasing that clout? Well, for starters, I know a guaranteed copyright strike or ad revenue steal when I see it. Furthermore, welcome to the monetizable clout chase video, ladies and gentlemen. Watch and learn. All I will say about the song itself is that it is a Tekashi 69 song. If you enjoy listening to someone scream at you about how tough they are and how everyone else sucks, you're in for a real treat. Otherwise, you'll be quickly reminded why most individuals with an IQ exceeding 6'9" probably don't take this type of music very seriously or invest a lot of time listening to it on repeat. However, today is not about music. Today is about something far more serious. Today is about butts. You see, in the past 10 or so years, butts have been making a comeback. The backdoor uprising has been strong. Unfortunately, unlike past wholesome attempts by heroes such as Sir Mix-a-Lot and Cisco, who fought for appreciating a healthy butt rather than idolizing women with eating disorders, the current trend has veered into insanity. Thanks to the Nicki Minaj and Kim Kardashians of the world, butt implants have become a trend. The idea has now shifted from appreciating a healthy woman to idolizing impossible proportions. The only circumstances in which such shapes can happen naturally usually require some insane genetics or, ironically, bad eating habits or eating disorders. Hip-hop has effectively taken the proverbial step too far, and its continued cultural influence is rearing its ugly head. The posteriors of the women representing hip-hop look as though every artist and dancer wants to be deemed as having their own Silicon Valley. The idea of butt stuff has been twisted into the perversion of stuffed butts. We live in a world where people rant and rave about unrealistic standards of beauty, but nobody seems to care about the unrealistic standards of booty. Is this some sort of conspiracy? Did nobody notice? Will this mystery ever be solved? Well, fret not, dear viewer, for I have already cracked the case. You see, it all comes down to the body positivity movement. This movement started as a way in which women who were a healthy weight wouldn't develop eating disorders or torture themselves to conform to unrealistic standards by supermodels. It slowly evolved, however, into a sly way for men and women alike with eating disorders to find acceptance and shame anyone who dared challenge their unhealthy lifestyles. As bigger bodies became more accepted and mainstream, the newer generations adapted to new fetishes as they hit puberty. This is human psychology in its most rudimentary function. So where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us where we've always been. 20 years ago, men were programmed to want women who were unhealthily skinny, with breasts too large for their backs to support. And today, men have been programmed to want women who are unhealthily thick, with backsides destined to ruin their posture. The cycle continues on, despite a loud and useless social outcry against it. You see, I say useless because the fact of the matter is, every society that has ever been or ever will be will have an ideal beauty standard built into it. You cannot remove it. Beauty is subjective, but also restrictive. What that means is, where I might see no attraction to the butts of today, many younger people will see no attraction to the butts of my day. Nobody is right and nobody is wrong. Yet it is important that everybody understands the inherent dangers which may exist within their own standard for beauty. and they shouldn't hold anyone they care about to a standard that would lead that person to an unhealthy lifestyle. It's really up to all of us to be conscious about our erotic biases and encourage those around us to be healthy. We need to fight against poor eating habits, whether that be eating too much or too little or just not the right things. We also need to dismiss the idea that all shapes are beautiful. Not because the idea is wrong, but the reality is some shapes are appealing to an individual and some are not. You're not going to be able to escape that just by chanting over and over that everything is beautiful. Because as soon as you say everything is beautiful, then nothing is beautiful. And luckily, we do live in a world where we can appreciate beauty. But we also need to remember our subjective perception of beauty is very irrelevant. We need to focus on being healthy and others around us being healthy. Being healthy should be the only goal for objective beauty. So it is time for all of us to do our part. And like a glorious set of ass cheeks, we can come together and stop this shit. Thank you.